What is up, everybody? It's Chris, Mr. Crockpot on Twitter. Welcome to the Blue Root Pod. This is a reaction pod to the Sixers' first Summer League game, and it's going to be a lot of reaction because that's what Summer League is all about. With me today, I got Coyle. You can find Coyle on Twitter at Ruzzer24. With us also today, we got Ben, BP Dunst. What's up, man?
Summer League's up. It's great.
Is there anything better than the hype machine of Summer League?
No. I would take 82 games of Summer League.
Yes. Replace the NBA season
with
Summer League.
We can have like 4 games of the NBA and 82 games of Summer League, and I'm happy. Summer League in December, I'm here for it.
Just go right into the playoffs.
Yep. Let's go Summer League, 1 week.
Playoffs.
Yeah, it's been a wild day of Stranger Things and Summer League basketball. Literally can't get better.
Oh, yeah. I haven't gotten to that yet. That's good, too.
All right, so today we're going to do a short recap of the game. We're going to give our player grades, and we're going to go down, roster by roster with the Sixers. Ready to go, guys?
I'm ready.
I think you can summarize the game in 3 words. Blocks. Dunks. Madness. I think that's it.
It's totally on brand for the Sixers to have a terrible fourth quarter. And what was it, 7 turnovers, I think you said, Ben?
Oh, that is not a statistic. It was probably more. That was my guess. It might have been 47. It's hard to say.
I was live tweeting for the Blue Root handle, and I made a tweet where it said "Fear the Deer," and the Sixers were up 20 points.
Oh, that was your first mistake.
And I was sweating. Guys.
Just in case Buck's Twitter got to it.
Comes back.
Yeah, so much fun.
That's not aging well.
I felt
it was perfect
coming, and I'm glad that I never had any doubt.
No, never in doubt. Never in doubt. Yeah, no, it was perfect. It's so Sixers to have 1 million blocks and dunks and absolutely no 3-point shooting. It was just on brand. It's the most the summer Sixers have ever felt like the rest of the year Sixers.
Michael Levin had a really interesting quote today on Twitter. He said, "This is the best summer league team he's ever watched." Do you agree? Disagree? Where are you at with that, Ben?
It's definitely the most people on it that I'm interested in, but very few things for me. The Simmons Summer League was was really every second of it was our savior is here. That was right after 10 wins, right?
Yeah.
That was 10 wins, and then the Simmons Summer League when he was shooting jumpers. I just saw that video that I don't know if you guys saw that was on Twitter today, but it was Ben Simmons Summer League highlights, and he drained a step back 19-footer. That was up there, but as top to bottom the whole team, yeah.
I mean, it's the rim protection first and foremost. I just absolutely fell in love with the rim protection and rotation between Chris, Camozzi, and Norvel Pelle. Obviously, if you're a Blue Root Pod fan, I'm a huge fan of Norvel. Mm-hmm. It kind of went how I expected it to go, especially rolling to the basket, pick and roll, lobs to Norvel Pelle and Chris Camozzi. Just an overall fun game. And I'd say let's do Shake Milton first. Shake Milton had 15 points, 2 of 14 from the floor. He shot 11 of 13 from the free throw line, 7 assists, 4 turnovers. He actually finished the game with a +4. For a good chunk of that game, he was probably, the best plus-minus player on the court at the time. That Bucks score is a little fraudulent, in my opinion. Offensively, he really struggled. Offensively,
that's the right numbers, to be fair.
Offensively, he really struggled, but I thought he was just all over the place, just impacting the game. Coyle, what was your take on Shake Milton?
I mean, he started off a little on the weak side. I kind of saw him a little bit just everywhere. Wasn't necessarily what we were kind of used to, what we saw last season when he was playing a little bit. I mean, I didn't have a feeling about him for this game. He was just kind of there for me. Some of the other players kind of grabbed my attention a little bit more.
Okay.
So Shayok was just one of those things. I wasn't really looking at him just because I've seen him before play a little bit, so he wasn't really who I was really paying attention to a lot of stuff, but he was kind of just there for me.
All right, how about you, Ben?
So for Shayok, for me, it was a game of two halves. I guess every game's a game of two halves, but you know what I'm saying. First half, I thought he wasn't really shooting, which is fine. He was like running the offense really nicely. He looked really comfortable. Everything was smooth. He was defending well on the ball. He was defending well off the ball. Like he was doing good stuff, using his length. In the second half, he just like didn't have it. I mean, he was getting to the line. He drew some good fouls. Like 11 for 13 from the line is like really great. That's really it's nice to see that because with his length, that'll translate. Like he's still going to be able to get people to hit him. But yeah, the second half, like the passing wasn't there, the awareness wasn't there. He wasn't moving as well off the ball, and the shot wasn't there. To me, that kind of tells me that he's probably not in game shape yet. You know, like this summer's just ending. He's been off for a while. He probably needs to get like the cardio back up because the shots were flat or they were like wide left. Like, you know, he was pulling. So I think that's not like the greatest concern to me. But in the first half, like the playmaking was really good. He like ran a great pick and roll with I think it was with Christ, the first like really nice pick and roll that was just in defense. And he had a wraparound kind of dip back pass to Christ for a dunk.
Mm-hmm.
Like passing was like there, the vision was there. I just think that if he can put two halves of that together, then it's like serviceable. But he just was dead on his feet in the second. I mean, maybe he wasn't. I think that's what everyone says when shots start going short. Is that like, oh, they were tired? Maybe he wasn't tired, but that's what it looked like to me. He just wasn't moving as well. So, not like ultimately concerning, but you know, probably like a C+ game for me. You know what I mean? Like it was fine. Completed the requirements, did okay, finished with a positive plus-minus, but just didn't really like do anything crazy. Like we know he can score. We've seen him score.
Yep.
A lot of what you saw from Shayok today was exactly what you saw from Shayok during his time with the Bluecoats, especially in like November, December, January, February, March. He led the offense, a lot of pick and roll, a lot of lobs to Chris Camozzi and Norvel Pelle. So that was positive. I agree that this was a very rusty Shayok Milton today, and overall, I mean, 15-7 on a really bad offensive game is something. And defensively, I thought he had some standout plays.
Yeah, definitely.
That you won't see in the box score for me, but I thought Shayok was all over the court. For me personally, I would give Shayok probably like, I think you said a C+, right? I think that's really spot on.
Mm-hmm.
So I agree with that. What about you, Coyle?
Yeah, I'm right around average game. Like it wasn't anything that I wasn't expecting him to do. It wasn't anything not expected. So it was just, he was kind of just, for me, just there. Like it was his normal Shayok.
Sure. I do think what you said, like that was the first thing I thought, like Shayok is I really thought he leveraged his length well in the first half. Like guys didn't expect him to be able to contest as close in front of him.
Yeah, he had a couple.
As he could kind of wrap around to do.
Mm-hmm. Definitely got blocked a little bit.
Yeah, so that was good. I think he got blocked once or twice, but like everybody was getting blocked. Norvel got blocked. You know, this is just a block party. So yeah.
Getting blocked.
Fine, fulfilled requirements.
Right.
If this is the best game of his summer league, then we have a problem.
Correct.
If it's the worst game of summer league, then we're very happy. So,
I mean, that was a really big question. Shayok signed a 4-year contract with the Sixers. Who's going to be the backup secondary ball handler with the Sixers? The ball was in Shayok's hands. I was expecting maybe a little bit of Shayok, running off the ball. We didn't see it. At least I don't think so.
Yeah, not a whole lot.
Right. So let's get into Zhaire Smith.
Let's do it. Yeah.
24 minutes, 10 points, 5 from 8 from the floor, 5 assists, 3 rebounds. He was a positive 11 on the court. Took no 3-pointers, by the way. That was surprising to see on the box score. But yeah, my general impression of Zhaire Smith was, holy shit.
Holy shit.
He looked like a man among boys today. His ability to cut to the basket was the first thing that popped. I mean, besides his phenomenal on-ball defense.
And he was up.
His ability to just cut to the basket, paired with Ben Simmons. We were robbed of this last year, and we're going to see it this year. Fingers crossed, knock on wood. So, I mean, it was just a absolutely A-plus game for Zhaire Smith from me. What about you, Clay?
100%. He was outstanding. I said this a million times during the game. I just saw him all over the court. Like, his ability to cover ground is insane. The last minute of play where they had that three at the end, it seemed like he was at half court and able to get to that corner and just like that.
His feet are so quick.
It's my mind.
And on that possession, he had that. Or I think it might have actually been the one before. He had that, like, he wanted to shoot a step back three, and he kind of got that like hardened double step back, and like just was a little more contested and had an open teammate, so he passed it. But like, his footwork never looked like that before. He never had like a nice, feet positioning step back move. So and he wanted to shoot a three on it. So to me, that was encouraging, even if he didn't shoot one. Like, I was like, oh, all right, I'll keep that in mind. But yeah, great Zhaire stuff.
He was my player of the game by far.
Yeah,
I was most impressed by him than I think anyone else on the court. Both teams, he was incredible. A+ for me.
I'm gonna watch the game again when I get home.
Absolutely.
But yeah, man, this is what we live and die for. So when I watched the tape again, it seemed like, first impressions. Every time he took the shot, the ball was rimming out. The shot was there. He was getting his own shot. He got some space. But yeah, like Coyle said, Zhaire is not my player of the game.
Me neither. We might have the same one.
I'm sure it is.
Sure it is.
So
sorry, keep going.
A phenomenal game by Zhaire Smith. What you gave him an A+?
Mm-hmm.
What about you, Ben?
So my we talked about this on our last pod, not the last pod, but the last pod we were on, because Jason had one in between, about like our expectations for the players. And so for Zhaire, we kind of all agreed that we don't necessarily want to see him come out and score 35, as much as like we need to see that he still has the athleticism. And any complaints?
None.
No.
In terms of like a guy that can be highly efficient without the ball in his hands, Zaire's the guy. Zaire is like the perfect 3-and-D guard for this team. Yep. I sent out a tweet to Kemba Walker that he was just shitting his pants because Zhaire Smith is going to be a pain in the ass for all the guards in the Eastern Conference.
But
this is what we do. This is a reaction pod. This is Summer League. It means nothing. Take all this. I recognize it. It's the beauty of Summer League.
Nope.
Well,
it's the truth. That's the problem.
It's usually true, right? Summer League means nothing,
and everything.
But if he can jump 1.5 miles in the Summer League into the air, he can jump 1.5 miles into the air in the NBA too. You know what I mean? Like, so I was super, super, super happy to see that he wasn't just getting up; he was getting all the way up. Like on those two lobs, I think it might have been more than two at this point. Who knows? But like those two lobs, he just was like north, like shoulders above the rim. Like that was crazy.
The king of the ball.
Yeah. So quarters on the top of the backboard, like Wilt. Like so I was very, very happy to see it. I thought he moved the ball well. He made quick decisions. I thought he looked settled in, which when he was with the Blue Coats, he kind of looked out of place in terms of like not really on the same page as everyone. I thought he looked really settled. You can tell him and Matisse are tight. Yeah,
we didn't get the red hairband.
The headbands yet? They might be retired. We'll have to see. I don't know. Yeah.
All right. Obviously, A+ for Zhaire.
A+.
Not my player of the game. We're gonna get into him soon.
Oh, my only thing with Zhaire is when they kind of told like the story of Zhaire, they got like way too detailed, and it was pretty gross. And like, I'm glad he's better. But just their phrasing on some of those things were just, I was like, I'm watching basketball. Leave me alone, please.
Okay.
So A+-, slightly less than an A+ because there was a gross story about him while I was watching. Yeah. But good for you, Zhaire. Glad you're healthy. You're listening.
All right. Matisse Thybulle. Matisse Thybulle played 24 minutes, 7 points, 2 for 6 from the field, 1 for 4 from 3, 2 for 2 from the free throw line. He was a positive 3. He had 4 turnovers, 3 steals. Obviously he had a 6.7% steal percentage. What was your overall take on Matisse Thybulle? Go ahead, Ben.
So I thought he looked like he was playing his first professional basketball game. He's sort of like on defense. He sort of played like he was at Washington and kind of stuck to that top middle section, which sometimes resulted in some off-ball movement, just like leaving somebody wide open in the corner, which he's just going to have, the coaches are just going to have to present like, this is what we have to do. And because like he's great in that area, but he sort of does that thing where he assumes someone's switching. And so especially when it was like him and Norvel didn't want to like step up onto the perimeter for the guy like coming around the ball handler. So they just ended up giving up some open shots. Him and Haywood also had some miscommunications. Like it just sort of seems like the blue coats guys who play the blue coats defense and Matisse just aren't used to playing the same kind of defense. So they just had some, which isn't crazy. It's just the inexperience, which again is fine. I like that he was shooting. The shot I thought looked good, but the results did not look good. He had one front iron off, which is fine. He had one wide left. One was in, and I don't remember the other one. But at least he was shooting them, so I'm okay with that for now. The turnovers is kind of the talking point. I thought like one or two of them were like bad turnovers. There was like one that I thought like that's a turnover that'll happen to you. It was like a pass that got deflected by someone playing the passing lanes well. I was like, it's more of a defensive turnover than a mistake turnover. And then one that someone dropped a pass he was throwing or didn't get their hands up or something. So he had a little bit of a turnover problem at Washington, just in terms of like you don't really want him dribbling in and driving with somebody on him. Like if he has some space, he can work a lane, but like
he's not going to do that role with the Sixers now.
Yeah, so it's probably fine. And probably some nerves to it. First basketball game of his Sixers career, all that stuff, and that's fine. So I don't know. I thought his on-ball defense also could have been a little better, but he turned him over excellently, and he had a bunch of deflections that could have been steals.
Say it. His rotational defense was incredible today.
Oh yes, yeah, sure. I didn't know what I was supposed to say.
As good as advertised by Thybulle, and that's all you're looking for. You're looking for catch and shoot threes. You're looking for a great rotational defense. I saw that today. What was your take on Thybulle?
It was like the Jekyll and Hyde on offense and defense. Like it was very like on the defensive side, I thought he was absolutely incredible. On the offensive side was a total different story. And I think it was something you were talking to about it being his first game, him being a little bit nervous. He just looked a little bit out of control, a little bit. I don't know. Like the speed may have been a little bit different. Like it was a little bit of a different speed.
Oh, chaotic.
It also could be the structure of Summer League too, because the games themselves are a little bit out of control. But it was two different people on the defensive side and the offensive side. Which you're just hoping that defensive side is what we're going to be seeing, and then we can work on the offensive front for it. But exactly what Ben was saying is it's on point. It's everything you said.
For me personally, I give Thybulle like a C+. Obviously, the shots didn't fall, but in terms of what I want Thybulle to be next year, I saw it. I saw the flashes. What grade would you give Thybulle for you, Ben?
I'd give him like a B, maybe a B-. I didn't think he was a train wreck offensively. I like that he made quick decisions and like made quick passes and sort of did what he had to do a lot of the time and didn't like summer league it up and just go jack shots. Like I thought he was fine offensively, if not a little bit out of control. So like a B, I think is fine for like his first summer league NBA game. Great defense, like slightly below average offense is a B for me.
I don't know what you guys do like before bed, but oh my God, like I had it in my head of what potentially the defense could look like with Zhaire and Thybulle on the perimeter, and my God, man,
good.
It's so good.
Good.
So good.
That's what it looks like.
What grade would you give Thybulle?
B+ defense, probably a C offensively.
Sure.
Okay. I think we're all on the same page there. Let's move on to Norvel Pelle. Norvel.
Player of the game, baby.
My player of the game.
Player of the game, baby.
Norvel showed exactly what I expected him to. Just a phenomenal roller to the basket. Great rim protector. We got – how many shimmies did we get tonight? I think we got like one or two shimmies.
Yeah, definitely multiple
He
shimmies.
showed in Delaware the shimmy, so very happy about that. Finished with 12 points in 22 minutes, 4 for 6 from the field, 7 boards, 3 blocks, 2 steals. I was really impressed with his ability to kind of strip the ball. There was a couple possessions there where he was able, not Nerlens Noel-esque, but maybe a couple tiers below that. That was really impressive. But wow, what a roller to the basket. I had it in my head that we're going to see Shake Milton and Zhaire Smith and Norvel Pelle pick and roll, lobs to the basket, and we saw it.
And we did.
I was so happy.
All day.
What was your takeaway from Norvel Pelle? Cool.
Yeah, he would have been. He's my second player of the game. My star number 2, as you would say if we're doing hockey. But he was just absolutely incredible. Like as we were talking throughout the game as well. I hope to see him up at the Sixers all year. I'm excited to see him play.
Sorry, Kyler Quinn, you're out.
Yeah,
Together, the 4 and the 5.
Yeah, it's I want to 100% have him have an opportunity to play. Like I want that to be something. Hopefully, everyone saw that and was like, you know what, let's give him this opportunity to actually show him what he has.
I think it's very possible too, because we don't really have a young center on the roster. Like there's Bolden, but I think Bolden is going to end up at the 4 a lot this year. Like there's a lot of indications that they're going to want to play him as like a defensive power forward. So if that's the case, then there's no young center. So if you're up 20 points, and I think there will be a lot of situations where they're up 20 points because they have the vet presence to beat bad teams, it just makes sense to have somebody like Norvel that you can just put in there and just learn the game a little bit more and develop a young center. So I'm in favor of it.
Loving to see the chemistry between Shake and Norvel Pelle continue. Elton Brand's holding the door open for Shake Milton to get that primary backup point guard position. It makes all sense to have Norvel get some minutes. And by minutes, I mean very bare minimum minutes.
8 minutes. Yeah.
Let's be clear. But I mean, besides shooting in the NBA, is there anything more important than rim protection? I mean, they're there, and that's what he does. And I know this means nothing, but Norvel Pelle loves to play basketball, and you see it through his veins. And I couldn't be more happy for the guy. What grade would you give Norvel Pelle, Ben?
So I know I said he's my player of the game, but I would give him an A-, because he had great blocks. He definitely did not get credited for all of his blocks because he's only listed as having 3, and that just is not. He had 2 on 1 possession, right? So
yeah,
3 seems a little bit low for me, but he was altering shots the whole time. He had a ridiculous rip on the pass from Shake, I think it was, or maybe Haywood. I thought he didn't look hard. Like he defended the perimeter relatively well when he got switched out there. Like he didn't look bad. He fouled a 3-point shooter at one point, but it was like really good defense up to it. Like the guy had to shoot like a deep fadeaway 3, and he just bailed him out. But he had 9 fouls, so that's why I kind of can't give him an A, because like some of them
I felt were actual. They were not fouls.
Yeah, some of them where he was standing flat-footed with his arms up, and like he got called for a foul because he's the big man, and like. That sucks. Does happen in the NBA too. So, like 9 fouls is a lot of fouls, like a lot of fouls. So, I guess you have to be a little bit like you keep an eye on that. I don't think it's enough to be worried about, but you keep an eye on it. I just love this game from Norvel because 1, it really seems like Sixers fans like introduction to Norvel Pelle. Like people on Twitter just have been crazy about Norvel Pelle today. Like, so I love that.
So
and
happy.
2. He was having so much fun. It was just fun to watch. Like he was hitting shimmies, he was hitting poses. The one goaltend, which was ridiculous,
yes.
that he hit
the best
Incredible.
play of the game was when
Was a goaltend.
Goaltended and froze like Jimmy Butler-esque, like when he hit the game versus the Boston Celtics, and just froze, and like for like a good 5 seconds
because he knew it looked good.
Mm-hmm.
He knew it was a goaltend, but he knew it looked good. Yeah, so. I loved it. Norvel,
like
we all love
A?
Norvel here.
Like an A?
It's good. Huh? Like an A? Yeah, like an A-, I guess. A-. It's fine either way.
Yeah,
Right,
I'm B+. I'm right around there. B+.
All right.
For me.
Yeah.
For me personally, it was an A++. Norvel.
Well, that's a shock.
Only because you're in love.
I'm in love. I am fully prepared to get a Norvel Pelle tattoo. I'm part of the Norvel Pelle High.
All right, I'm changing my Matisse grade to S.
All aboard, baby.
guy.
All aboard. It's happening.
My guy. All right. So where to next?
Let's go. Jalen Jones. Jalen Jones got the surprise start today. I thought it was going to be Haywood. He played 17 minutes, had 16 points, 4 from 7 from the field, 5 boards, a steal, a block, 1 turnover. He was a positive 4 on the court, 7 of 8 from the free throw line. Jalen Jones, my first take was he's a black hole in offense. This is a guy that's going to absolutely you give him the ball, he's not going to get others involved. I had no idea who Jalen Jones is, to be honest. I'm not gonna lie. So him getting buckets was one thing, but then like watching him not get others involved was another. What was your takeaway from Jalen Jones, Ben?
I don't know, man. I thought he was like not great. So I mean, okay. So he hit like 3 insanely tough shots in a row, but like he took 3 insanely tough shots in a row, and I was like, all right. So he's out here. I know he played in the EuroLeague. I think he's been like the 15th man on a roster a couple times, or like on a 10-day for a couple teams. But like he's a EuroLeague guy. Like he just wants to play somewhere. He's trying to show he can score. I get it. That's sort of a staple of summer league, is like guys trying to get, just noticed. But I mean, he didn't really play great defense. He didn't really stick his man, and you can tell that the Sixers guys are really trying to like get themselves up to speed on like defense and rotations and all that. So like I think that kind of made it tough. I don't know, man. He was kind of just like a summer league chucker. I mean, I'm sure he's great. I'm sure he's cool. I feel bad saying it, but like just sort of looked to me like a summer league chucker.
Could you imagine how good the Sixers summer league roster is? Jalen Jones with that Dalton Holmes guy? Oh my god!
Oh my god, he was hooping.
Just a ball.
Summer league white shooter is another staple, so good for him.
Yeah. No, I mean,
he was.
I feel like exactly what you were saying. Like he was trying to get on a team. Like it didn't have anything to do with what the Sixers are trying to do. He was throwing up shots, and I was like, "What are you doing?"
But at least they're going in. Like if you're going to be a chucker, it's good to hit them.
Yeah, but still, it's
gonna look bad tomorrow when they don't go in.
Correct, and that's what we're going to see tomorrow, and that's the reason that he is who he is he's just throwing things up, hoping that they're going to go in. And I personally am with you. I'm not a fan.
So I give him like a C-. A high volume shooter is not exactly what's going to make it on the Sixers next year. Ben, what grade would you give Jalen Jones?
I'd give him a B+. I mean, I thought he had a good game.
Okay.
It's just like if he does the exact same thing, it's going to be a D next time because he's not going to be hitting like over the back of his head shots. But I mean, he hit his shots, and they had gone like really cold, and he had taken those like, I'm going to go get this bucket right now, whether or not I should. And they went in. So, and he had a fine enough game. Would have liked some more defense, so maybe actually just like a B-. But
okay.
5 rebounds, had a steal and a block. He was around.
A couple rebounds. Yeah, I mean, he was in the game. I'm like a C+, B. Like
one turnover.
Yeah, I mean, it's
good for him.
Yeah. No, let's be clear.
It's just not gonna. He's just not gonna be on the blue coats.
Exactly.
Because Rashad Vaughn can chuck shots and run a pick and roll, and he just,
Jalen Jones is the epitome of summer league basketball.
Yeah, sort of just replaceable.
Yeah,
100%.
Yes. Let's move on to Chris Camozzi. Chris Camozzi played 14 minutes, had 11 points, 5 for 7 from the field, no free throws. I'm sorry, 1 for 2 from the free throw line. No threes, obviously. 7 boards and 5
blocks.
He was a -3 on the court, but there were several stretches, in my opinion, where he was the best player on the court. Future Boban. What was your takeaway for? Let's start with you, Coyle. Yeah, on Chris.
If he needs to get some weight, get to the weight room, put on a little bit of weight, and stay on the floor. He's jumping. I don't understand why he's jumping.
He's not a player that's gonna. This is absolutely not a player that you're gonna expect to play more than like 15 minutes a game.
Correct.
This is a guy that maybe during the regular season could have a couple games here and there where he has some flashes, but playing in the playoffs, I don't know about that. But go ahead.
No, it's. I thought he, like you said, had just some flashes where you're just like, oh. This,
he's so big. He's so big.
Massive.
Yeah, it just I loved him. Like I was just like, oh, okay, because I've seen a little bit, but not like this, and I was very, very impressed with him.
Shameless plug on Jason Blevins did an exclusive interview with Chris Camozzi. It's on the Blue Coats. I'm sorry, not the Blue Coats. Our Blue Root page on Twitter. Make sure you check that out. Just an amazing, amazing story. Go ahead, Ben. What do you think about Chris Camozzi?
Well, first, obviously, there's a ton of like Boban comparisons going around, and what I think is a little bit interesting is that like Chris is athletic, like Boban's not athletic, like he is not jumping, like he's gonna get a putback with his feet flat, but like he's not jumping. And Chris actually can get up, like he's got some athleticism to him.
Too much,
which is interesting. Yeah, probably more than is healthy.
Yes.
But and I don't know that he necessarily has Boban touch because Boban has like really just delightful touch. It's beautiful watching like the mid-range pass and shoot game of Boban, and we'll see if Chris has that. I thought his passing was a little bit better than I thought, but mostly his positioning was impressive to me. Like he was in the right spot that when he caught the ball, he could just go straight up with it. I love that his scoring instincts. Like he never took the extra dribble. Kept it pretty well. I thought he stayed on the floor more than I expected because I didn't expect him to stay on the floor at all. Like I thought he was just going to be up in the air every time, and he had a couple. Granted, he got called for fouls when he kept his feet flat and his arms up. So what are you going to do? Yeah, my impression, like pretty much start to finish, is that he's going to make like a very exciting Delaware Blue Coat. Like,
yes, 100% is exactly where I was going to go.
Yeah,
next.
He's nowhere close to NBA roster right now. But it's raw. You never know. You can't coach somebody into being 9 feet tall. So right now he's Godzilla, but we'll see if what Connor Johnson can do with him. And I think that's really part of why he's at Summer League is like him and Connor Johnson can kind of get a feel for each other. Connor Johnson can tell like if he's coachable, what we could teach him. So yeah, he's going to be really fun to watch in Summer League. The Chris Norvel like pairing is just delightful. I would love to see them on the floor together at some point.
Yes,
Twin Towers.
Yeah, it'd be bad, but
Power
it's fine.
price compels you. Oh my God, that would be so fun.
Compels. There's something in there.
Compels. Now,
All right. Sorry, everyone.
I'm creating a graphic on that. As soon as
we're doing that. That's going to be a T-shirt. That's a T-shirt for sure.
All right, let's give Chris Camozzi a grade. For me, I'm gonna give him like a B+. I thought he was absolutely fantastic. Just 5 blocks. He had 5 blocks in 14 minutes. So the efficiency is there. I'm worried about his fit in the NBA. But then again, like this is a player that I will be gushing over with the Blue Coats next year. Fingers crossed. What about you, Cliff?
Yeah, I'm right around there. Same.
Yeah.
I
think I think B+ is about right. He had 7 fouls, but like the Bucks for like half a quarter, they were like, we're dunking on these dudes. Like we're going straight into Norvel and we're going straight into Chris, and they're either going to stop us or we're going to get them. So like I don't really blame either of them for having a lot of fouls because like they literally the other team was just like they wanted to murder them. They were going straight at them just like because they were thinking, I'm going to get a poster on this dude who's 7 feet tall and has 5 blocks, and I'm going to get on a roster. I'm going to put this boy into work.
I said that exact word when it happened. When he had that block, I was like, oh, this guy was trying to poster him. Nope.
Yeah, my first thought was back to the Larry Nance Jr. In the regular season game, like maybe halfway through the season, when like he just saw Joel in front of him and had like some space to get up first, and he like cocked back, and everyone was kind of like, okay. And Joel, I think he fouled him, but he was like, nope, no dunk. And I was like, okay. That was a lot like this. You just saw him kind of get up, and you're like, and then nope, not happening.
Yeah.
It was amazing. It was a 2K block, like a straight up 2K block.
100%.
All right,
Incredible. I can't wait to see that one again.
let's talk about the next sleeper on the Sixers Summer League roster. I thought he was really impressive. His name is Zach Hankins. No, I'm just kidding.
Played 3 minutes, no shots, no stats recorded. 3 minutes -1.
Love you, Zach. Love you, Zach. I was hoping for a Sixers blowout and just gushing over Zach Hankins the best way that Summer League can offer. Didn't happen. Very upset about that.
I don't mean this disrespectfully. Why were you hoping for that for a bunch of Zach Hankins? I wasn't hoping for that at all.
It's just it's the part of the madness, man.
I love it. I love it, Chris.
There is an answer. It's just very long, not enough time for the Blue Root Pod. Let's talk
about.
Let's talk about Mario Shayok.
Let's.
21 minutes, 19 points, 7 of 13 from the field, 3 of 6 from 3, 2 for 2 from the line. He was a -15 on the court.
Yeah.
4 assists, 4 boards, 2 turnovers. Go ahead, Quill.
He was my third star. I was so impressed with him. The way that he was able to drive and dish and then step back and then someone else driving and being able to hit some threes and stuff like that. I loved him. Another guy who was all over the court the entire game. Doing what the Sixers are looking to do is exactly what he is actually doing.
Interesting. Okay.
So I was a big fan of him this game.
Okay. How about you, Ben?
Yeah, I was really, really impressed. So I had sort of said a lot that my expectations for him were super low because he played on that team filled with point guards and pass first players and as the only shooter, and he sort of just got a ton of open looks, so the percentages sort of seemed a little bit fraudulent, they were inflated from just constantly getting great looks. But I mean, he he created his own looks in this game.
That was surprising.
Yep.
Yeah, I was really surprised, and he had the one pump fake into a pull up that was it was beautiful, super fluid. His feet moved pretty nicely. I was impressed by his lateral quickness. So maybe he can defend a little bit better than we thought.
Uh-huh.
I think the -15 is actually not concerning because basically the Bucks went on 2 runs, and it was against the starters both times, which is why Shake at one point was a +19 and he ended up a +4 or whatever.
Uh-huh.
It was just those runs where they were turning it over a bunch, and Mario had very little to do with that because he was not really in control of it during those runs, but he did run the offense at certain points.
He was
looked good doing it.
Point guard.
Yeah, he looked good doing it. I was impressed. His handle is better than it ever looked when I didn't watch a ton of film, but I watched some film of him. The handle looked way better. He was moving around better. I think maybe just the NBA 3 line just gives him more space to work and a little bit more area to navigate inside the arc. So I thought he looked better than I expected. So maybe I was completely wrong about Mario Shayok, and I hope I was because I was not really feeling like he was going to do anything really. And his jumper looked great off the dribble. He had catch and shoots. He had good awareness. He made quick decisions. I kind of thought he might be one of the guys who either passes as just to the closest person as soon as he gets it or holds onto the ball way too long, and he didn't do either at all. It was really good. And he shot over people a little bit. He was pretty good at knowing where he's going to release and what contests aren't going to actually contest his shot. So really encouraging, and we'll have to see the next game, but I wouldn't mind him. We have 2 roster spots. I personally think it's always a good idea to use a roster spot on a non-guaranteed contract for a summer league standout. Mario could be a good fit. And then you just run him in the fourth quarter of games that aren't close and see how it works with some other NBA athleticism out there and give it a shot. I would be completely fine with that.
I was really impressed with his maturity. He's an older prospect.
Yeah.
He's a guy that you could see it. You could see that the game was not too fast for him. And I think, like you said, Ben, that really shocked me. Because this is a guy, all things considered, coming in, not a great defender, can't create his own shot, and wow, was I wrong?
Yeah, man, it's crazy.
That's the one thing that I think the Sixers really need too.
Mm-hmm.
So if you took him and you get him to do that in the NBA, that is what we're looking for. So I'm I'm hoping this is something.
Yeah, some guard skills on a wing size. And honestly, even if it ends up that he's not quite our guy, like I think that's somebody you can sign to, like a non-guaranteed minimum, give it a shot, and then maybe somebody else is interested at some point. Just if they just need a 13th guy on the roster who can shoot a little bit and move the ball a little bit and dribble a little bit and not be a chucker. Like, yeah. So good for Mario. Great, really great first professional game. Like, really competent. His stroke is gorgeous. Like, his shot is just off the dribble. It's so fluid. It looks exactly the same every time. Like, really nice. So maybe Elton actually made a great pick in the 50s there.
Maybe.
Like he did with Shake Milton.
Yep.
What would you? What?
Oh, I guess it wasn't him, but like the Sixers did last year with Shake Milton.
I
would give him.
Go ahead.
I would give him like an A, like a solid A. I thought he was really good.
What about you, Cole?
I'm an A. I'm an A as well.
Yeah.
I really, really, really enjoyed watching him today.
Shayok was not a player I expected anything from. I was not high on him at all. If you follow the Blue Root Pod, and he shocked me. I mean, there were several plays where he showed flashes.
Shayok, you?
No, Coyle.
They probably felt the after Shayoks from yesterday.
It's me, I'm Mario.
Oh God, this is a mess. And I would say, unlike Jalen Jones, like, we were kind of saying that he was hitting these shots, and we were like, you won't hit that. I don't think there was a single make that Mario had that like looked. I know he's got like he needs 5 minutes. I don't think there was a single shot that he took that looked like he won't make that again. Like they all look natural, they all look fine, they all look good, they all like made sense going in. Where you're like, wow. And frankly, we need an I expect that to go in guy, because the Sixers historically have had very few guys that you expect the ball to drop when they shoot it.
Yeah, man.
So who knows?
Dalton Holmes.
I don't. Well, that's not going in. That's not an expectation. That's
gonna happen.
Yeah, that's ESP.
All right, let's move into Haywood Highsmith. So 22 minutes, 9 points, 3 of 5 from the floor, 2 of 4 from the 3-point line, 1 of 2 from the free throw. He had 2 boards, 2 assists, 1 turnover, was a -3. I'll start. Haywood's my guy. Has been since November, since we started following the Blue Coats on the Blue Route.
For a very long time.
I was happy that there was, I think, like 1 pull-up 3 that I was very happy to see. I think, Ben, you said it earlier on our last pod that Haywood's future lives and dies with his consistency from 3. Absolutely nailed it. What was your takeaway on Haywood?
I don't know. He was there. Again, it wasn't someone I was looking for. So I wasn't really, kind of paying attention to what he was doing.
Okay.
Just because I've seen him, so I wasn't necessarily like focusing on him. I was looking at, kind of all stuff. But he was just kind of him. He was him. It's exactly who he is.
He's a versatile defender. The defense was there. I think he looked like he belonged. What was your thoughts on Haywood, dude?
Okay. So I kind of know what you mean, Coyle.
Yeah.
So I thought he looked kind of like the same glue guy role player he always has. But he didn't really, I don't know. I don't think he really made a strong influence on the game. Like, he didn't really affect the outcome heavily. 2 for 4 is great from 3. Like, I'm glad to see that. But, like, it's summer league, my man. You can shoot 7. Like,
throw it up.
You got it. Yeah. Like, you got your job here is to, like, prove that you deserve the other 2-way spot. Because right now it seems like, if depending on what happens with guys like Dabo Cephalosha and Kyle Korver, like if only one of them want to come, there might be an open roster spot that they might want to put a non-guaranteed person on, so that if there's a better player who gets bought out, they can buy out they can waive the non-guaranteed player and put that established player on it. So that might give you 6 months, not 6 months, maybe 3 months of like actual playing time.
Mm-hmm.
So if that might be Mario, so that might mean that there's one other 2-way open. Like if you want to keep that 2-way spot you had last year, you got to prove that you have the 3-point shooting to do it. And like 2 for 4 and kind of doing all the things we know you can do just isn't really like what he needs to be doing right now. I thought he also kind of looked like he wasn't really in game shape. He took a couple hits like on like screens and switching on defense where he kind of like went down a little. He would kind of put his hand on the ground quick. It looked like he was feeling the hits that were coming to him. Not so much like brushing them off and keep moving like Zhaire. does this great job, and Matisse too. Like they'll take a hit and keep moving. Like they kind of ignore it.
Yeah, like the way that he was, you saw some of the other players breaking through the screens where he was just like.
Yeah, and when he was on defense, like sometimes when he took the shot to the body, kind of.
This was not a very good game for Haywood in respect. It was a very solid game, I think, from Haywood. But when it comes down to it, Mario Shayok looked great. Mm-hmm. Norvel Pelle looked great. Mm-hmm. Zhaire Smith looked great. Matisse Thybulle offensively
looked good.
I mean, defensively, Thybulle looked great. So, like, in terms of, like, getting a roster spot, being a two-way player for the Sixers, not the outcome that I was hoping for. I love Haywood. Haywood was kind of our claim to fame with the Blue Root. Overall, I think I would give him, like, a C. I think that's being generous. What about you,
I'm a D.
Oh, wow.
Not only because it's, like, what you were saying.
I think the Sixers are stocked with wings right now.
Right. It's a tough situation for him.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I do think he suffers a little bit from, like, we talked about Matisse in college on a different episode, how he sort of was the production numbers were always going to be limited because of the people around him. I think Haywood's that same kind of guy. Like, he's a plug and roll guy. He's not going to give you 27. He's not going to give you 11 rebounds. He's never going to give you 9 assists because, like, that's just not what he does. So, I think he's not going to be the guy that takes over a game ever. That's fine. Like, that's not his game. That's a lot of players' game is not to take over. So I give it like a very solid C because I think it's like an average kind of run of the mill. He didn't do anything horribly wrong. He had like one turnover and not a lot of fouls. Like, he was fine, like average C. But like, he wasn't really anything more than fine. He wasn't really anything worse than fine. It was like a super okay game, which when you don't have that many, like, Summer League is not 20 games. So I think that kind of almost makes it worse than a C, but like, to have an average game is worse than usual in Summer League, but it's still an average game and not much more.
Yeah. I think it was just me. I expected more from
him.
Yeah. It's really what it came down to.
It's just because we love him so much.
I know
we want him to be
we just
MVP, not of Summer League.
Yeah, like Haywood Highsmith is the equivalent of Matisse Thybulle. When you see Thybulle and his eyes are like this big, and he's doing his interviews during practice, during the press conferences, like you can, same as Norvel Pelle, like you can feel yourself through this player that's just loving life. Yep. And Haywood's the same kind of quality player, great kid. But yeah, this was not the best outcome. So you are listening,
but not horrible. Yeah.
No, not at all. No, he's definitely. Yeah. It's not that.
It's an okay game. Yeah.
Right, exactly. So you're listening to the Blue Root Pod. Make sure you follow Blue Root on Twitter at Blue Root TPL. For Quill, it is on Twitter at Ruzzer24.
RUZZER24.
And
for Ben, make sure you follow Ben at BP Dunst. Any last comments on the Sixers for tonight? Go ahead, Ben.
I'm giving the whole team an A. Just as a whole, this summer Sixers is so much fun. I would rather see Terry Harris than Jalen Jones, but that's like fine. It's like not a big deal. This was just so much fun. Just had it all. Fantastic. Hopefully they win the whole thing just because that's the most amount of games. Like, I want as much of this team as I can. It's so much fun right now.
All right, how about you, Cole?
Yeah, it was a great game. I enjoyed it. I love Summer League. I can't wait for our next game.
I mean, this is what Blue Coats basketball is like. If you follow them at the 76ers house all year, this is a very fun group. Yeah. The starting lineup is basically the same thing compared to last year. It's going to look very different. This stadium is very intimate. Awesome. If you want to get to know players, go check out the Blue Coats. So it's just a very fun game overall. Thanks for watching, guys. Go Sixers, baby. Stay awesome.